Hi folks, Dave, the Honest Audiophile. This is the TRN BAX, and these are my Honest Audiophile Impressions. I want to thank Hifigo for providing the BAX for a review. Do greatly appreciate it. Hifigo, you rock. Alright, so the TRN BAX. This is a quad driver tribrid. It has a 10mm dynamic driver for the bass, one Knowles 29689 BA for the mids, and two Sonian magnetostatic tweeters. The unboxing experience is very bland, so we're not even going to bother open it, but we will show you the accessories you get. You get a 1/4" adapter, two pairs of silicone tips. You get these clear ones and these black ones, both small, medium, and large. And then you get a carrying case, which has TRN branding. Opens up, it's all plastic, but on the inside you do have a little bit of felt to protect. Not really pocket friendly, but bag friendly. And then you get a cable and your BAX. All of this will cost you $312. But wait, there's more. It's on sale. At the current time of this recording, it is on sale for $280 on Hifigo. All right, so let's talk about this for a little bit. So here's the BAX. I have a very nice cable, and I really do like that the ear hooks are well controlled. It's a very soft, light feeling cable, and it's just very well built. Does terminate into mini XLR, but I was not provided other terminations. I was only provided 3.5. But you can get them through TRN, the other terminations. So I'm not sure if it was left out of my package or if it was something that that only comes with one, whatever your termination is, and you can get the others later on. Not exactly sure, but mine just came with 3.5. The shells are all metal, and they look nice. You can get them in silver, and they have a little bit of branding on them, which is kind of hard to see on camera. It is a semi-open design. Connects with 2-pin, but they're heavy and they're big. These are a very chunky IEM shell, and it has a few flaws. When you're looking at it, it doesn't have a very aggressive angle, and it's a short nozzle. Very, very thick body, and there's no wing of any sort, and so causes some problems for me. Now maybe your ear it'll fit better, but for me it was very much a hard fit because of all those little flaws. It's just massive in the ears, and I find that they don't really stay put. So I had issues with them staying secure because I could not get them to go in the ear and stay, because this part here is just so massive it just doesn't fit into my ear. And as you can see, they stand out and it'll really stick out far on the ear. You got this ear hook that kind of comes and hits this part, top part of my ear right here, and it's just not a good fit, not very comfortable. My ears could tolerate them for about 20 minutes, and then they were screaming at me, get them out, get them out, get them out. The other problem was with the silicone tips. No matter what size I use, small, medium, or large, or any of the aftermarket tips that I could fit onto this, it did not stay in. I tried every single size, everything I could cram onto this nozzle and get it to stay in my ear, and it just didn't stay put. It was wobbling around and falling out, and it was the strangest thing. So I had to go with foams. Foams were the only thing that I could get a secure fit with. Isolation of outside noises, don't expect much. These are semi-open and they bleed in and out. You're lucky if you get about 50% of outside noises blocked. It is better with foam tips than silicone. Overall, the design is unique with that open, semi-open build with the grates there, but they're heavy, they're bulky, they're big, and they're uncomfortable. How do they pair with gear? They're actually really easy to drive. 22 ohms, 118 decibels of frequency, sensitivity, and they are just extremely easy to drive. Had no problems whatsoever powering them off of any device. Some devices had a little too high output impedance for them, so I had to use an IFI IE match, especially on desktop. But for the most part, they were a very easy to drive, non-picky source. Gear that I really did enjoy it on was the Sony A105 Adapt, Sony NW1A, and also the Hibi FC4 and Periodic Audio Rhodium dongles. They have a frequency response of 7 Hz to 40 kHz. TRN says that the performance at the high frequencies and extremely high frequency is the BAX's strength. Pianos and strings are its forte. The sound is pure and precise, non-irritating. Excellent high frequency extension ensures that details are preserved without loss of detail and soft sounds. Sound is delicate and natural. How do the TRN BAX sound? Bass. The bass of the BAX is interesting. So it has a lot of body. It is very much mid-bass and upper bass focused. Sub-bass is there, but it's not a super deep and grumbly type of bass. It's more just gives you what you need when you need it. It stays out of the way, which is the way it should be. Mid bass is a little too thick, a little too dominant. Upper bass is also a little too thick. They are a very bloated, bloomy type of sound, and it has a lot of fun factor to it. It has a lot of quantity, but it doesn't have a lot of quality. I find that the tone is okay, and that the detail retrieval is okay. Resolution isn't the greatest, and overall it's just not a very well-defined bass. It's just kind of a little bit more on the quantity side than the quality side. Mids do get bleed from the bass, and it has a very warm bottom end of the mids, and the mids are uneven. As you get to the upper mids, somewhere around 3 and 4K, it really starts to rise. 5K, there's a big huge spike, and it's a very shouty, very aggressive sound, and it becomes intense. And the overall presentation of the mids is very uneven, uncohesive, unbalanced. And it has a issue with tone and timbre. Tone is adequate, but timbre is off. And what I mean by that is that instruments do not sound accurate, especially when you get in strings, woodwinds, and brass instruments, guitars, and pianos. They will sound okay on the lower end of the register, but as you climb into the uppers, they become shouty, thin, and just off. They just do not sound proper. Instruments like a saxophone and a clarinet, you cannot differentiate between the two. They sound identical, and that is a problem. Guitars, all the guitars are screechy, and pianos sound very tinny. They will make every single piano sound electronic. And I just found that the tone and timbre is just off on these. And it's not like terrible to the point where I won't listen to them, but it is to the point where it's frustrating and annoying, because I know that's not what an instrument sounds like. Going into the treble. So after that 5K peak, and then it dips just a little bit, and at 8K to 12K, they're super elevated. And then it kind of extends properly and flows out. That 8 to 12K is way too elevated, and it presents a very hot type of presentation. Everything is in your face, very glaring, very shimmery, and it has way too much sparkle and energy, and these are very piercing type of sound. And I find that the treble is not well defined. It presents a very harshness to it. And there's just this too much of an edge, too much crispness and energy that is not natural and accurate. And I find that lowering volumes to even less than what I normally listen to and using foam tips tamed that slightly. So normally I listen between 65 and 75 dB. I was consistently listening at about 55 to 60 dB with the BAX just because they were more tolerable at that level. If you raised the level, they became very harsh, very shouty, very hot, and extremely bright sounding, and it just wasn't a fun listen whatsoever. And overall, I just found that they're very unbalanced and not very cohesive. They're not natural sounding, and they're definitely not delicate. Delicate is a soft and pleasing approach to things, and these are a very bold, aggressive, energetic, and just way too much. These are not delicate, in my opinion. Soundstage I like about the BAX. The BAX has a very nice and wide soundstage that sounds natural, has good spacing, good accuracy as things travel across the stage. It's not the most precise, but it is pretty close. And then also it has good depth and layering. Everything sounded good, doesn't really muddle in unless it becomes a very complex track and has a lot of things going on in the bass. Then it'll become a little bit jumbled, but for the most part, it's a very competent soundstage that I really enjoy. Tone and timbre is definitely a problem, as mentioned, and detail retrieval and resolution isn't the greatest. These are not the most clear and defined sound, and it does okay with detail retrieval, but it's not anything spectacular, especially for the price point. $312. For $320, you can get the Massdrop Blessing 2. And the Massdrop Blessing 2 absolutely destroys the BAX and everything. Way better detail retrieval and resolution, way better control throughout. It's more cohesive and balanced. It does have slightly less body weight and note weight, but overall the tone and timbre is more accurate, and the details and resolution is just spectacular on the Blessing 2. Soundstage is more accurate and true and does not get confused on busier tracks. For $240, you can get the soon to be reviewed on the channel JQ 4U Pro. The 4U Pro also absolutely roasts the BAX. The 4U Pro has the most accurate and natural sound, tone and timbre, has a more accurate soundstage, imaging is more precise, and it is better with depth and layering. Overall, the 4U Pro has a more natural and accurate tone, timbre, detail retrieval is better, and better resolution. So the BAX. Unique design, semi-open, you don't see that too often, and has a unique driver setup, and it has a lot of interesting features about it, but it just doesn't do enough to overcome its flaws, which are the elevated upper mids and lower treble and the big huge bloated bass. To me, the BAX just can't get out of its own way. It's been Dave, the Honest Audiophile. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Speaking of next videos, somewhere on the screen, subscription links, notification bells. If you haven't already, check those off. Don't forget to give a thumbs up or a thumbs down to the video. Also, check out all of the listings down below. There's all kinds of information regarding how you contact channel, file channel, support the channel, all that kind of stuff. And then also there's music recommendations, gear recommendations, and all kinds of other things down below. And finally, don't forget to enjoy the music, and that honesty is the best policy.